Bonjour, and welcome back to Paris Top Tips. If you're visiting Paris, you've probably already heard a lot of things about food here. Some of them are true, some of them are half true, and some of them are simply food myths that Parisians find quite amusing. In this video, I want to debunk the most common Paris food myths tourists believe and explain how things actually work in real Parisian life. Not from a guidebook perspective, not from Instagram cliché, but from the point of view of someone who actually eats in Paris all year round. If you want to eat better, spend smarter, and avoid disappointments, this video will save you time, money, and a few awkward moments in restaurants. This is probably the most famous myth about Paris. The truth is simple. French waiters are not rude. They are professional. And professionalism in France does not look the same as in Anglo-Saxon countries. In Paris, waiters will not introduce themselves by first name, will not interrupt your conversation every 5 minutes, and will not ask if everything is absolutely amazing while you're chewing. Silence does not mean hostility. Distance does not mean arrogance. Of course, on rare occasions, you'll meet a waiter who behaves badly. But that has nothing to do with Paris always being a waiter. It's simply because some people behave badly, no matter what job they do. What does matter a lot, however, is basic politeness, saying bonjour when you enter, s'il vous plaît when you order, and merci when you leave. Most bad service stories in Paris are not about food, they are about misunderstood social codes. No, you don't. In France, service is already included in the price. It's written on the menu, service compris. Waiters are paid a salary. They are not living off tips. And nobody expects 15 or 20%. That said, you may notice something new in Paris. In some restaurants, when you pay by credit card, the payment terminal will automatically ask if you want to leave a tip, often suggesting 5, 10 or 15%. This can be confusing for visitors, but it's important to understand that this is optional, not an obligation. Once again, service is already included in the bill. Personally, I always select no on the terminal, and if I'm satisfied with the service, I'll simply leave a few coins in cash on the table. Leaving nothing is completely normal. Leaving a small amount is appreciated. Large tips are neither expected nor required. And if a waiter insists on tipping, that's not traditional Parisian practice, and it's usually a sign the place is targeting tourists. Onion soup is absolutely a French traditional dish. But here's the reality. Parisians almost never eat it in normal circumstances. It's a late night or a winter dish. Some people even claim that onion soup is a hangover dish. Historically, that idea comes from an interesting detail. Onion soup was known for its ability to mask the lingering smells of wine and alcohol, not after 1 or 2 glasses, but after heavy drinking. Because of that, it gradually earned a reputation as what was once called the soup of drunkards. Its role was not so much to cure a hangover, but rather to hide the strong aromas of alcohol. That reputation is precisely what helped onion soup become part of popular habits, especially late at night or after festive evenings. So it's not something people order casually for lunch in a bistro. If you really want to try an onion soup in Paris, there's a right way to do it. It's best eaten in winter and preferably in the evening, when it actually makes sense culturally and seasonally. And rather than ordering it just anywhere, it's worth being selective. Here on screen, you can see a list of the 15 best places in Paris to eat onion soup, according to the French national newspaper Le Figaro. That way, you're not just ticking a cliché, you're experiencing the dish in the conditions where it actually belongs. This is one of those clichés that never dies. Yes, escargots exist. Yes, frog legs exist. But no, Parisians do not eat them weekly, or even monthly. Escargots are mostly eaten during festive meals, especially around Christmas. Frog legs are rare and quite niche. If you want to try them once for curiosity, fine. But don't think that avoiding them means you're missing real French food. Most Parisians go years without eating either. And if you look at the top 10 French dishes preferred by French people, escargots only come in 9th position and frog legs don't even make it into the top 20. This one hurts, but it's true. Paris has excellent croissants, and I have a video coming soon to prove it. But also very average ones, and some really bad ones. A croissant is only great if it's made on-site with butter by a proper boulangerie. If you see a place selling bizarrely stuffed croissants, or alongside pizza slices, kebabs and paninis, don't expect magic. The same goes for croissants sold in bulk in plastic boxes at supermarkets. Parisians are loyal to the bakery. They know where the good croissant is. And they don't assume quality just because they're in Paris. Being in Paris clearly does not make food good by default. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings. Paris can be very expensive if you eat like a tourist. Paris is surprisingly affordable if you eat like a Parisian. Lunch menu, daily specials, bistro at lunchtime, bouillon, boulangerie with proper lunch formulas. You can eat very well in Paris for 15 to 25 euros if you know when and where. Parisians rarely order à la carte at dinner every night. They adapt, they choose the right time, they use the system. Expensive experiences exist, but they are a choice, not a rule. Paris is not a 24-hour food city. Restaurants follow meal times, lunch roughly between 12 and 2, and dinner from about 7:30 p.m. Outside of that, many kitchens are closed. Parisians know this, and they plan accordingly. If you're hungry at 4:30 p.m., bakeries, cafés, and some brasseries will save you, but not every restaurant. This is not bad service, it's just how the French rhythm works. In France, meals follow a clear rhythm: breakfast in the morning, lunch around 12:30, and dinner in the evening. People eat proper meals at the table, take their time, and focus on fresh, quality food rather than constant snacking throughout the day. That's the French paradox. French people have low rates of coronary heart disease despite a diet high in saturated fats and cholesterol from foods like cheese, butter, and rich sauces. A beautiful decor does not guarantee good food. In Paris, some of the best meals are served in places that look very simple, sometimes even a bit old-fashioned. And on the other hand, some of the most spectacular dining rooms in the city don't always deliver on the plate. Those of you who follow this channel may remember my lunch at Le Grand Colbert. It is undoubtedly one of the most beautiful restaurants in Paris, but the food I had there simply didn't live up to the setting. That experience perfectly illustrates this point. Atmosphere and architecture can be stunning, but they are not a guarantee of quality. What matters far more than decor are things Parisians really look for. Short menus, seasonal dishes, handwritten words, and a dining room that fills up at local hours. Parisians are often suspicious of places that look too perfect and are still half empty. Good food doesn't need chandeliers. Most Paris food disappointments don't come from bad food. They come from false expectations. Once you stop chasing clichés, onion soup everywhere, escargot every night, smiling waiters asking your name, and start observing how Parisians actually eat, everything becomes easier. Better food, better prices, better experiences. If this video helped you, feel free to like it, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which Paris food myth surprised you the most. À très bientôt, and bon appétit!